Well, welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends, and nor did the scoring yesterday. Did think about leaving early, but would have missed a good 6 goals had I gone 5 minutes early, so lucky I stayed to the end. We've got a few things for you. Paul, I've got some music you might actually like today, as long as I normally say copyright allows it. It's somebody called June Tabor. Much more down your street. Also, I have to. Well, we can't get back to Wycombe. We might do a little bit of your quiz, Kieran. We'll see what the time's like. Tottenham won, but don't tell anybody, because from what I read, I believe Harry Kane is the best centre forward in the world again. He scored 2 goals, so he must be. And a few other things to discuss and talk about, etc. And one was the other thing for Paul. Actually, Paul's the guy I go to football with, all right? I let him park in a parking space to save money, and he has to drive me there. Seems fair. We don't like each other at all, of course. I mean, it's got nothing to do with that. It's all down to money. It's money. Yeah. It's money. Yeah. He's my bus service. I give him his parking ticket.
Do you like buy him a beer at the ground, or is that just?
He bought me one this week. He did buy me one this week.
So he gave you a lift and he bought you a beer. It doesn't seem like a very fair relationship, this.
Well, he does get my entertainment and my.
Yeah, well, I mean, we provide this for free, don't we?
So. We do. Yeah. But we've got the other thing for him as well. He was after all the details and information regarding yellow cards and red cards, when you get them, how you get them, how long you get kicked off for, etc., etc. I looked this up and I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake, this would be simple. Oh, no. Did you know the rules are different depending when you're in the Premier League or the EFL, for instance? Oh, yes. We can't do anything easy, can we? Probably more complicated for the players. They won't understand any of it. Okay, so off we go. Wycombe Wanderers, and it's got written here on YouTube, 10-goal thriller. Let me just take a drink. Can I just say, I don't know what. Okay, they invited a ton of school kids or football kids or whatever with their freebie tickets, who took up the other end in the corner, who actually sang a lot louder than the rest of Wycombe Wanderers. You could hear them singing Wycombe in a high-pitched voice all the way through the game. Couldn't hear any of the people behind the goal. It was quite entertaining. They
were just a bit depressed at that point.
Yeah. They should bring them as a sort of, the song group every time, I think.
Orchestra. Yeah.
And some of the language was shocking.
Or from the 10-year-old kids.
Yeah, it was shocking, But they didn't have to stop the game. That's all. That's one thing.
Thank goodness.
Can I just say, the word thriller, I was bored. How can you be bored in a 5-5 game? I found myself with 10 minutes to go, standing there looking at my phone, wondering what the other scores were, because I'd sort of thought, well, I've had enough, really. And that sounds really strange, doesn't it? I mean, why do they call this a 10-goal thriller? It would have been if I thought it was 2 great teams battling it out. But it wasn't. It was 2 bad teams playing on a school playground and just going from end to end, sticking the ball in the net, is what I thought. And we'll have a look at the goals against Wycombe and for Wycombe. It seems the most obvious. So let's start with the first one. Here we go again. First 2 or 3 minutes, Wycombe 1-0 down. Now, Of course, as soon as I say that, the screen goes on here. Now,
we could take it in turns to describe each goal, I reckon.
yeah.
There's 10 of them, so we've got quite a bit of time.
Well, I'm not. Oh my Gordon Bennett. Okay, off you go with the first one then. Who?
So
let's not go into blame mode. All right.
No.
Let's just describe the farce, the comedy act at the back for Wycombe here.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of if we're going to blame people, we're not going to blame people, but there's quite a few of the defenders
you don't
involved.
have to say I blame. You just tell them what happened.
To be honest, I don't blame anyone in particular. It's all just a bit rubbish. You got Jacobson who scuffs his clearance, bobbles around a little bit, and then you've got young centre.
It doesn't bobble.
Farino.
It goes way up.
It goes way up. It goes way up, but then it bounces on the ground a couple of times. And then you've got Farino, who does the classic young centre-back thing of, I'm going to try and look experienced and head it back to the goalkeeper, even though there are two Cheltenham players lurking about. One of them gets onto the end of the header and lobs it over Stockdale, in which, Stockdale just does kind of stand there. Not that I'm a big. I feel like the last recent weeks I've been a bit of almost a Stockdale hater, but I don't want to call myself that. I just don't think he's been fantastic, to be honest with you.
He's become a Division 1 goalkeeper, hasn't he? Where he seems to be a championship goalkeeper.
Wycombe have done pretty well with goalkeepers down the years. We've always seemed to have like a championship level goalkeeper, in which they were kind of one of our strengths. Becoming less and less so, I'd say. I don't know how old Stockdale is. He was at Fulham for goodness knows how long, being their B team keeper. So, yeah, that's the first goal.
Yeah, so it really was, a number of just bad luck, bad choices.
Bad luck and bad choices.
And there I am.
Lack of concentration in the first 5 minutes.
As per normal.
Yeah.
That's the what I would say is really worrying. It was, here we are as per normal. Okay. So that's goal number one. Trouble is, you have to be so good at pressing the stop button on here because it goes so quick. All the goals going in. Now, Wycombe, fine out on the left. In comes the great cross. Now, if you were them, you'd be going up and down like a yo-yo about that one. That was a cross that went into the net without being touched. Goal given to Obita. It was a cross. Have to say, it was a good cross into the box. Dangerous cross. You'd got Wycombe players lurking in that box. And I don't think I want Cheltenham's goalkeeper.
I think it's one of those that you typically see quite a lot of, in which the ball's been whipped in and the ball ends up going in at the back post. Obviously, the keeper's expecting someone to head it in some sort of direction.
We were as well, weren't we?
Yeah, so I can understand why the keeper hasn't saved it. It does look a bit slow when it goes in, is the only thing.
Yeah. You've got a player on the line. They've got a player on the line as well. And so you've got a goalkeeper and a player on the line, and they both just watch the ball go in the net. I don't know where. Well, if I was a Cheltenham fan, I'd be thinking, well, that was a bit tame. Let's call that tame. We've just had two very, very tame goals. You're not going to go, that's going to win the goal of the season.
No.
They're not going to win the goal of the week. Right. Shall we move on then?
Yeah.
So 1-1. Next goal, is a Wycombe goal. Okay, so we have a throw-in comes in, header up into the middle, header down, boom, 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 in he comes, up to the byline, cross, in by, what's his name?
Abita.
Abita. Good goal.
Yeah. A very good goal. I've got to quickly look up who it is up front. There's the two people we signed this summer who I get confused to which one's of which.
Because the following goal was also
it was a really nice finish by Hanlon, the second goal.
And which one was it that set it up?
Third goal, sorry.
Which lad was it that set it up? Because I thought he had a reasonable game. Saleh Kaki.
So Kai set up the second and the third. The second one in particular, he creates all by himself for Abita, and then he threads in Hanlon for the third one, in which is a very, very nice finish as well.
Again, just say that moving straight on. The first one I thought was a good Wycombe goal. The second one, I think, straight down the middle, but he didn't belt it over the top. He threaded it through their defence for Hanlon to run onto. That is Hanlon's strength, isn't it? Chasing those balls as they come through. And I think that Wycombe's second and third goal, you can only credit and actually say both good goals to Wycombe. If I was a Cheltenham fan, would I be annoyed with either of them? Difficult to really pick out their Division 1 goals. Good Division 1 goals.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So, Wycombe 3-1 up. Game over.
No.
Half time. Should be game over. Wycombe's strength, remember, is their defence. Just to mention, Wycombe played 3 at the back. The lineup is always difficult to discuss because we never know whether players sat on the bench are there with a slight knock, where players are, etc. So we've got our 2 central defenders missing. One isn't there due to, we think, an injury, Tafazoli, and the other one being Stewart was on the bench, who never came on. And you can only presume for a knock, which is why he didn't play 4 at the back. He was lacking central defenders.
And we did mention this a couple of weeks back, and didn't you have a comment saying to try out the youngsters a little bit more?
Yeah, and now we know why you don't.
And now we now know why we don't. Because if you have a back, 3 of Stewart, Tafazoli, Jacobson, you don't concede 5. Like, you just wouldn't. We never concede more than 3, quite honestly. So to concede 5 in the manner we did
to Cheltenham, that's the point.
Cheltenham, yeah,
Cheltenham.
It just wouldn't happen, would it? And young, inexperienced centre back, anything can kind of happen. We've seen that with some like the lone centre backs we've had in the past. They can either be exceptional, they can either be really bad.
Yeah. So Wycombe 3-1 up, and so we move on to the second half, and we're all thinking, hey, this game's over. And in they come down the left-hand side, cross in, kicked across. Okay, now I need to go back on this one because, first of all, they're coming down the left-hand side. Okay, now, as the ball is kicked from the centre out to the left-hand side, now, who have we, in theory, got out there?
It's Wheeler who first confronts him, and then it's Grimmer behind him.
Yeah, I was getting that. Wheeler. What was Wheeler on there for?
To cut out that sort of thing.
He was in midfield. He wasn't one of the three at the back. He was in midfield, and he was there. Now, I've got it just as the player on the left receives the ball, with Wheeler slightly nearer our goal, and there's no problem there. Absolutely no danger. We move it on, and the guy's past him like there is no tomorrow. He makes about 8-10 yards on him in about 20-yard space. He's going at about twice the speed of Wheeler. He's way past him. Gets to the byline. So where is Wheeler unfit, or can he just not?
I don't think Wheeler's is so much the problem in that circumstance. I think it might be a positioning thing of Grimmer in that case, because if a bloke, touches it 10 meters beyond him, you're expecting someone else to be there to clear it up. And fine, Grimmer's not there. So he gets into position to kind of block the cross, but then he's a little bit weak and doesn't really do too much with it. He kind of just puts a foot like slightly out in front of him, but he doesn't go there to fully commit and block the cross.
Yeah. So you got Grimmer next, haven't we? That's what you're saying. So he gets past Wheeler. He's now got Grimmer in front of him on the edge of the 18-yard box as he's getting to the edge. So Grimmer's job is now to block the shot.
It's to put as much pressure on the bloke as possible to ensure that the cross is either blocked or not very good.
And in the box that you can see, you've got at least 3 Cheltenham players all standing all on their own. You got Thompson running back about 5 yards behind. Fair enough. And then you got the number 38, the new guy in the centre as a centre back, who's standing all on his own at the edge of the 6-yard box.
Well, I don't know whether people will be able to see, but it's Farino who's at the front here, he's the one main centre back. He's not supposed to be there because he's got 2 people behind him.
Yeah,
I can see why he's gone there because of him, but that's where these 2 are supposed to cover for him so that he can go back a space. Jacobson can go back a space so he doesn't have to cover both of them and can put more pressure on this guy so he doesn't get the ball back into the box.
That's right. So Jacobson's got the 2 guys on his own, and you've got the centre back standing in willy-nilly.
Yeah. Centre back is not affecting the game whatsoever.
No, the ball is kicked high right to the far back post and then put across, and one of those 2 players all on their own taps it in the net. First of all, then, so the player's all on his own to stick it in the goal. All on his own. In the middle of the 6-yard box, with not a player anywhere near him. With that's wrong. I mean, there's no other way you can word that.
Yeah, it's a communication and positional thing, which again, to be fair, it does start out on their left-hand side, and the 2 out there should do more. But also the people in the middle should do more as well. Yeah. It is poor around.
Yeah. And when that ball goes in the net, do you see where the centre-back ends up?
Yeah, in the net as well, essentially.
That's a shocking goal, whichever way you look at it. But that's all right, because we're only 3-2 down now. And
3-2 up.
Sorry, 3-2 up, and we've got the whole game left to get going. Hopefully, get another one because they're going to be chasing. No problem. So, their fans going wild, and out we go. So, the first mistake on the next goal. Okay, we have a little player of ours that we bought and was the highest paid, but I don't know whether he still is. And what's his name? Because I always get it wrong.
Organ.
What was he doing on the football pitch? if you want to win a game, do you play Horgan? I would say possibly not, because I don't know what Horgan thinks he does on a football pitch. I don't think he knows what his job is the problem. I can't work out what his job is.
Well, I mean, there is that.
Jumping the ball is definitely not one of them.
There is that, but there's also a thing that out of probably everyone in the team, he is going to have the lowest confidence in the team, considering what his form for Wycombe
because he listens to this.
Maybe, but also because he's gone from scoring and assisting quite a few in the Scottish Premier League to going to League One and doing absolutely nothing.
He does do nothing, doesn't he?
He doesn't influence the game. It's like a really poor example, but he's kind of like, because he's in the attacking midfielder, he's kind of like Coutinho, in which he was doing everything in Scotland / Liverpool, and he's gone to Barcelona / Wycombe, two very similar teams, and has ended up doing nothing.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
It's the same kind of story in terms of what he's ended up doing. Like attacking midfielders, it is very difficult. Like if you're in a rut to actually influence a game, I feel, because it's all about being confident, wants to get on the ball, showing a personality in the game, and all that sort of thing. So
we were missing a personality. Yeah, showing who you are. Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Of course, he was on the pitch for Cleary, yeah. I always want to say McDonald. I don't know why. McCleary, yeah. And of course, McCleary's knocking on a bit now. He says, sitting here at the age of 58.
Yeah.
McCleary's knocking on a bit now, and it crossed my mind. Of course, these players are knocking on a bit now. And I wonder whether Ainsworth thought Cheltenham. And then we got Wigan, is it, on Tuesday? Yeah. The big game. But of course, it isn't a big game if you can't beat Cheltenham. We needed to worry about Cheltenham. And I just wonder whether McCleary, he felt his performance had slowly gone down and he needed a break. Or whether he actually thought, just give this guy a go. I don't know. I wouldn't have put it. Anyway. So first things happen is the ball is sort of halfway up our end of the pitch. The ball in the air. Horgan jumps for it and misses it completely. Is nowhere near. I mean, he seems to be, playing jumping on his own. No, I mean, lucky he's in the same shot as the ball, really. He's that far away from it. And it just lands in for their player. How far out is he?
About 20, 25 yards.
25 yards. Who kicks it? Does he kick it particularly well, do you think?
It's in the corner and it's hit decently hard. I don't think there's too much you can complain about in terms of the finish.
And I'm not sure the defence can be blamed. They'd actually quickly got round that guy and tried to get in the way.
Yeah.
But didn't. And so it hits the inside of the post and then comes back across the line.
Yeah.
So we'll let them have that one. Except shame it was Horgan standing there and not Wheeler or Thompson.
Yeah,
Thompson would have brought him down before he kicked the ball. Yeah. And Wheeler would have elbowed him. Yeah.
Yeah. You would have been like, Thompson doesn't do anything in the game. He only just gives away fouls. And yet he would have won us the game.
It's funny. It's funny when I say somebody's rubbish, they tend to start playing well.
Yeah.
Horgan, you're rubbish. Horgan, you're rubbish. Horgan, you're rubbish. Yeah, he should score a hat trick next go.
I'll just say that all rubbish, and then we'll win every game 10-0.
Because I thought Abita actually had a reasonable game, actually.
I mean, he did get 2 goals, and he does set up the next goal as well.
Yes. So we're back to 3-3, and you've got their fans going wild. And I'm thinking, well, they've scored the last 2. It's probably on them now. Now, Wycombe actually had improved, having scored 3-1 up. Probably had got a bit better until they made these 2 goals went in, and then Wycombe's football went back downhill to being very poor. So it's 3-3, and you're thinking, damn it, now we're in trouble. But no. Good old Wycombe, we do everything we need to, don't we? So up we come, a beater's cross, missed kicks by their defender, and right at the back there is number 9, centre forward, who just whips it in without a problem.
Who I just can't remember the name of. Sam Vokes.
Sam Vokes. Well, you'd have to say their defence here was pretty shocking. I mean, good goal in the sense of it was a good cross. A beaters was a good cross, and Vokes was in the perfect spot.
Yeah.
The next one came straight from kickoff. So we're 4-3 up now, straight from kickoff, thinking all we have to do is hang on. They belt the ball into our area. Thompson belts the ball into their area. And all it is a race. And the race is by Hanlon.
Yeah, Hanlon
who gets
pretty much takes up all of their concentration. And Vokes is evidently there just to wait and see if anything drops for him.
He's standing behind him. They knock Hanlon down in the box, and they fall over at the same time they're knocking him down, and Vokes is there to whop the ball in the net. 5-3, game over. Can't we all just now go to our cars, Paul, not me, and go home? I mean, it's the games that you don't. I mean, they're not coming back from 5-3. Okay, no. And so that's it. What a great game. Yeah, we didn't play well, but we'll have that. Tell me about the next goal, please.
I'm trying to work out for myself if I'm going to sound once again biased towards Stockdale not being very good.
Just explain the goal to
start with. The goal is a punt upfield in which our boy, I'm assuming it's May. Yeah, it is May. Is somehow all by himself with no centre-back Farino in sight. May has left him behind. Jacobson is having to come across again to try and cover for him.
He's way out of position here.
Well, yeah, it just shouldn't be there. Both of them are way out of position, but that's mainly because of Farino just leaving him. The striker gets a good touch on it, but he is still on the 18-yard line and is nowhere, like, he's at a tight angle, so it's very unlikely to, get a decent shot off. If it wasn't for the fact that Stockdale is standing in no man's land and gets lobs pretty easily. If Stockdale just stays on his line or is in his 6-yard box, it's not a goal because the striker has to produce an insane finish from that angle to be able to beat him. But he doesn't. He is nowhere near where he should be. I've worked it out. He's not anywhere where he should be. I'm going to blame him.
You're going for Stockdale.
Or
the centre back.
Both.
He didn't have a good game, Mr. Centre back.
Centre back, just no.
Because I was stood there at the back thinking, now I wonder if how many of these would have actually been goals had Tafazoli been on that football pitch, or Or
Not many.
no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
It's the thing is, if you're, and this is where I think people can question Ainsworth. If you're Ainsworth and you've seen, let's say, 3 of the 4 goals come down to, not that it's a complete blatant error, but it's a poor error, that your centre back has caused to lead to a goal. Surely at 5-4, you think, don't want to throw away the lead again. Maybe I should put on my very experienced centre back that I have on the bench.
And he'd got McCarthy on the bench.
Yeah.
He could have set up a back 4 to deal with it. Because as it is, it's this guy, this centre forward in the middle, who's now lobbed the goalkeeper twice. And I mean, it's down the centre, 4 at the back. Surely would have dealt with all of this, would it not?
It means you have 2 centre backs on 1 striker as opposed to just one of them, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't think he did the young centre back any favours in giving him any confidence. And I'll tell you what, when we play Wigan, if that's the lineup, do I want to go?
If you're a young centre back, the worst position that you can be placed in is in the middle of a back 3. If you're on the left or the right, you can kind of get away with some stuff.
But you got help. You got help.
You got help from either your left wing back or your right wing or your left centre back or your middle centre back even. If you're the middle one against 1 striker, it is down to you and no one else, essentially. And as he found out in this game, he kind of got stuffed.
So that was 5-4 now. So can we hang on? It was at this stage, I now have my phone out thinking, well, this is playground. Anybody can score. Both teams are crap. Anybody can score. Who cares what the result is? If Wycombe end up in the playoffs, we're not going up. And just by any little squeak that Wycombe go up, we're coming straight down. Being if Cheltenham,
that's not what a true fan would say. You'd still support the team at this point.
Of course, I am still supporting Wycombe. But if Cheltenham can knock 5 past us, can you imagine those teams like Nottingham Forest? How many goals would they have scored at this point in this game? I mean, they'd be in double figures, and that's the truth. Okay, let's move on. You can only presume he's going to buy something if we went up. That's all I can say. Right, off we go.
I'd like to point out that this striker, May, for Cheltenham, is not in the top 25 scorers in the league.
Is he not
in that? So
he's not even
up to 25th. The players are on 8 goals. That means he has less than 8. That means he has doubled. Oh no, I'm completely lying. He's 5th. Completely missed his name.
I don't know whether I was going to say better or worse for that.
No, but he's essentially he scored a third of the goals this season in this Wycombe. 1 game. Yeah, which is still pretty bad.
In 1 game. Yeah, because he got 4 out of 5, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, next one then. And up the line, simple crossing and a knockdown by, we've got McCleary on at this point, who was standing where, well, was he where he was supposed to be? Was everybody where they were supposed to? Wheeler was doing nobody goes near the player that scores, that's for sure.
I have to say for one thing, the one player, I mean, obviously there's no midfield wherever you look, but Abita is the one who actually goes to try and block the ball. The way he goes to try and block the ball is by standing up still and turning around. Now, if you've got a bloke pretty much just in front of the penalty spot on the volley, you literally have to put your body on the line and just like spread as far as you can. Obviously, keep your arms down, but not standing up straight, assuming that the ball is going to hit you straight.
As thin as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the least helpful thing you could have done.
Well,
I'm not saying I would have done it, but I'm saying a professional footballer who probably should have done it.
So, really, that was our 10-goal thriller.
In which we've mainly just complained about
We've
rubbish
complained.
defending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fans. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah.
But do we? Is that a fair assessment, or are we being really, really negative and should be really positive, actually, of being able to score 5 goals? Not many teams can score 5 goals in a game, apart from Cheltenham. We're better.
I'd say in terms of like scoring goals, obviously we should be very happy that we've scored 5, and they were all pretty decent goals. Like other defenses would have stopped them more than like some of them more than likely, but I think 2 or 3 of them were still like very good from our point of view.
Yeah.
And then I'd argue 1 of theirs was any good.
Yeah. Yeah, we said 1. There wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And I think 3 of ours were excellent goals.
Yeah.
Actually. What can you say? Well, we've said really that Ainsworth should have changed that back lineup. It was obvious it didn't work. I'd be fascinated to know why they didn't particularly either. It baffles me as well. We used to be known for being tough at the back. Well, obviously we weren't. That game really worried me, and I'm not sure. And I'm now really worried about Tuesday night. I have to be honest. And what do I think about? I sort of wish I'd watched a blog by one of their sort of fans to see what they thought. I know what they've got. If I just press that and see, oh, why are the people that always do this spotty teenagers?
Lovely.
Well, it's not my fault.
It's not their fault either. Well, it might be, but you know.
We've got a few of their comments. Great crowd. As a Plymouth fan, I really wanted you guys. Oh, right, okay. Wycombe fan here. Firstly, a good vlog, so well done, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, well played, Alfie May. And lastly, both teams' defences really need to take a look at themselves after that. I know weather conditions were tough, but both teams' defence shape were all over the place. I'm a Wycombe fan. Fair play to you lot. You were out in voice today, couldn't defend today. Ha, ha, ha. What a game, what a game, what a game. Alfie May reminds me of Jamie Forrester of Northampton.
Who?
Alfie May is the best player I've seen in Cheltenham shirt for 10 years. Wow. Absolute scenes, what a game, great game, bring on next week. Crazy game, my guys seen, I saw you at the game. Oh, really? Delighted you got a draw at Wycombe. I effing hate Wycombe. I can see them tumbling down the league now up the Oxford. Okay.
Who's got the time out of the day to watch a Cheltenham fan's vlog if you're an Oxford fan?
Well, I just read his.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose so.
See, but they all thought it was good, which seems a bit strange because if I was them, I'm not too sure I'd be so happy either. But there you go. I suppose picking up a point on Wycombe.
Well, changing what your opinion of the game was. The guy who commented, I was there, and this was probably the best game I've ever watched.
You see, I bet all those kids behind the goal thought it was brilliant.
Well, yeah. I mean, for some people, goals are the big element of excitement, which they normally are. I suppose when they're scored like they were, then it might not be so much.
Is there anything we want to say more about that, other than what we have? I'll stick in a few things. Do you know Alfie May got a 9.7% FOTMOB rating. I can see why, I suppose. I mean, he finished everything. So, I mean, what else can you say? Working on the theory, he had 3 big chances and scored 4 of them. Not bad, really. I mean, when you look at the statistics, it's actually very similar, but all so bad. Tackles 1, Wycombe. Do you know how many tackles Wycombe made in that game?
10.
5.
That's really bad.
They only went to get the ball out of their feet 5 times in the whole match. They stood off their player, is what they did. And, you know, I was just thinking there was something I wanted to say. We only made 2 blocks. It's worth mentioning that we only won 27 aerial duels in the whole game. 3 successful dribbles. So they only ran with the ball 3 times. And do you know
we
what?
Score 5 then?
How did he?
No, that's we. Very
difficult, because if you actually look at the I wonder what the XG was. I've got it written down somewhere, and it's not very high. It was it's something daft. It was lower than the amount of goals scored, because you just weren't supposed to get through and score those goals because the game wasn't very good. But the thing I wanted to say was, so much of the game was played in the middle of the pitch, heading the ball backwards and forwards like that. And normally you would say, "I'll get the ball on the ground." But if the ball's coming down at you like that, what do? You head it. They head it. You head it. They head it. The thing was, where do you head it? Our friend up front heads the ball to some guy playing off of him to create a chance. Where did our central defender and our midfield head the ball? Just straight, and normally to them, without any thought of where it went. And I remember thinking that during the game, when the ball's in the air, what's the point of winning it if all you're going to do is head it back to them? Why don't you look around? As you're going, look to the sides. Who's there? Who's going to take the ball when you put it in there? And they didn't. They just headed it back. And that's what it was. It was playground football. And that would be my title. Wycombe 5, Cheltenham 5, playground football. Doesn't make you feel great, does it?
I'm just going to have a quickie look at the... yeah, it's not good viewing. If you're us or Sunderland's, to be fair.
Tables.
Yeah, so neither Wycombe nor Sunderland's have won any of their last 5. Sunderland's, in fact, have lost 4 of their last 5. We've drawn our last 3 games. And we have Sheffield Wednesday, who are hot on our heels to take our place in that top 6.
How are they getting on?
They've won 4 of their last 5.
They're the team, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on their run. Plymouth have re-established themselves and on a run of winning 4 in a row.
MK Dons have got their place in 3rd, haven't they?
Yeah. Oxford are neither here or there. They've lost 2 of their last 5, but also won 2 of their last 5.
It really is Oxford, Plymouth, Wycombe.
Oxford, Plymouth, Wycombe, Sunderland, and Sheffield Wednesday. It looks like
to take it would be 2 places,
3 places, 3 places.
Right. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams take 3 places. And who are those 5 teams? Who are the 3? Do you think? So we've got Rotherham at front. Well, that isn't going to be, or is it? I think it might be. I think Rotherham are going to win this.
Yeah, Rotherham and Wigan will keep their spot.
Yeah, and then MK Dons third.
Most likely, yeah. You would have thought so.
And then we've got Oxford, Plymouth, Wycombe, Sunderland, Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, well,
I think it will be Plymouth, Sunderland.
You think Sunderland?
I'm trying to be optimistic for Wycombe as well. Plymouth, Wycombe, and Sheffield Wednesday. That's what I'll go for.
Will you? Well, I have to put Sheffield Wednesday in there. So that's Rotherham, Wigan, MK Dons, Sheffield Wednesday, and Oxford. And therefore, I've got to hope like mad Wycombe do better than Plymouth. And I don't think Sunderland will do it. I think Sunderland are having a shocking time. Just changed their manager. They can't change their manager again. And I don't think the players will now be believing in. And I think it's as simple as that. Our problem is we've got Sheffield Wednesday and Wigan to play. And those 2 games are going to be so big. It's going to be untrue. Sunderland, on the other hand, have got Burton and then Wigan and Charlton and Fleetwood, Crewe, Lincoln, and then Rotherham. So they've got a nice little spell in there after the next 2 of Charlton, Fleetwood, and Crewe and Lincoln. So they've got that little place to do it. Wycombe, who we've got knocking around for the matches soon. We've got Wigan, oh dear. We've got Accrington, Cambridge, Crewe. And then we've got Rotherham. And then we've got Portsmouth, Fleetwood, Doncaster, Cambridge, Gillingham, Plymouth, Wimbledon. I mean, we're okay with a lot with that. But we got to turn that round soon, haven't we?
If we get back to the form that we were at the start of the season, where it was before I went to uni, where we were winning, we were 1-0 up, 2-0 up, occasionally conceded a goal in the 90th minute or so, but won the game and pretty comfortably at the same time. If we get back to that, then we'll be fine. But it just doesn't look very likely at the moment, does it?
I mean, Oxford went and bloody won 4-0 against away at Charlton.
I think the problem that we may have is that we've had 2 bad periods this season in which we've gone 4 or 5 games without a win, and I'm not sure the rest of the teams may necessarily do that. They've only have 1 bad patch. We might even have another one after this one. So it's difficult.
But can I also say that all sounds very negative and what? The fact is, we're fighting for promotion in Division 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we shouldn't be at the end of the day.
No, it don't get much better than that.
No,
it won't get much better than that.
No, unless we have the Prince of Abu Dhabi come and buy us, then the chances are this is the best it's going to get. Yeah. I think people do need to remember that again when they're posting on the Wycombe Wanderers Facebook fan group. There was a bloke who was like, "Oh, where are all the Ainsworth lovers now?" And it's like, well, we still like the bloke. He's still got us into the championship and done an extraordinary amount for this club. Just because he drew 5-5, because he played one young centre back, doesn't make him.
And we don't know why.
We don't know why.
That would be.
With all we know, like Stuart could be being a twat at the moment, and we don't know.
We don't know. That is one little thing I would love to know. I wish we did know. Maybe
that might be the one thing that's better about kind of like the Premier League and all the top clubs, is that there's a bit more clarity as to what's happening. Like you know if Klopp has had a falling out with one of his players or something like that, because it gets out into the media so much.
A player's kicked a cat, something like that.
Oh, players kicked a cat. Like we know that, and so it's just like, oh, thanks for keeping us informed. Whereas Wycombe ain't got a Scooby-Doo. You know what? We should ask James more. He'll have some intel.
This is Kieran's cousin, who
is the kit man.
Who's the kit man? Yeah,
he had a. You showed me, didn't you? Or Nathan did, his little feature on Twitter. He had recently. There was a video recently of him talking about kits.
Yeah,
it's always interesting.
So if you think this is exciting, maybe you want to try that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe if you think this isn't exciting, give kits a go.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we leave Wycombe there? And we got them again Tuesday.
Whoopie-doo.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be singing my songs.
Will you? Were you going to be there this week?
Yeah. It's half term. I'm not at work.
Oh, fantastic. That's against Wigan as well.
Yes. I don't know whether that's good or bad, really. I don't. Yeah.
If you win, it's a good, isn't it?
Yeah. Shall we do not a quiz this week? Well, now just to say, how are we going to get June Tabor in here? Shall we do it now?
Go for it.
June Tabor. This is the Wycombe Wanderers plus bit. Love the bit somebody wrote up last week about guessing the X, whatever it was, how many X's I spend on time or something on each section. I love what he wrote. I thought that was very funny. Thank you very much. The music is in the background at the moment is June Tabor. It's from a box set actually called Always. Love June Tabor. There we go. June Tabor. Always. 4 CDs. She's an interesting singer. Folk music, as you can tell from listening to the background. This song, he says, quickly trying to find this song, is called Strange Affair. And is it? No, it's not. Sorry, it's called The Seeds of Love. And it's a traditional, and it's arranged by Tabor, Warren, Emerson. It's her on the vocals, obviously. Warren playing the piano and Emerson on the viola. I love folk music, English particularly. Joan Tabor did an awful lot of work with Martin Simpson. Got one of their albums as well. Love her voice, very, very deep, very haunting, heart-wrenching included. If you're into folk music, English in particular, then have a listen to June Tabor. This is from a box set called Always, but obviously there's tons of stuff that she recorded. Okay, I'll probably play that a little bit at the end as well. But now we move on to the next topic of yellow and red cards. Now, are we ready? We'll start the simple facts, okay? Now, do you know the rules, Kieran?
I used to. Whether they're still the same now, I don't know.
Okay, we'll start with the Premier League and explain how it works there. in the first 19 Premier League games, if you receive 5 cautions, yellows, you will get a 1-match ban.
Okay, that's the same as what I thought it was.
That also applies to the EFL. Okay, a 1-match ban for the first 19 games. If after 32 Premier League matches you have 10 cautions, 10 yellow cards, you miss 2 matches. That changes for the EFL. I'll come to the EFL. No, we'll keep them in tow. The EFL is 37 EFL League matches. You receive 2-match bans for having 10 yellow cards. And then you receive a 3-match ban in the Premier League for 15 yellow cards if you've received them on the last day of the same playing season. And if you've received up to 20 by the end of the season, you go to a commission and they'll decide what you get, man.
I was going to say 20 is a bit excessive.
It is. Whereas in the EFL, it's up to 15 on the last day of the relevant league playing season before the playoffs. And then again, the same applies with 20, the last day of the relevant league playing season prior to the playoffs. So that's all nice and simple, isn't it? Really. So for us, EFL, the only difference is that second part of up to 10. Then you have the FA Cup rules about how many 1-match bans you receive, and that goes up to the 6th round if you get there, etc., etc. If you're interested in the EFL, Women's FA Cup, etc., it really you're better off actually looking that up, because it really does get very confusing and very all over the place, simply because obviously where Manchester United start in the FA Cup compared with Holmer Green, and where do they start in the FA Cup, the rules change depending on where you come in to the FA Cup. Now, if I am sent off because I've been Mr. Naughty, how long will I be suspended for with a red card? Okay. This applies across all cups, etc. If you're dismissed, now, yeah. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Players who are dismissed for a second time in a season will receive additional match suspensions to those listed below. Okay, so this is for the first time. If you get sent off for denying opposing team a goal, denying a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity, serious foul plays, spitting at an opponent, violent conduct, using offensive, insulting.
We know what we get a red card for. Yeah.
Okay, but you get different match bans. So if you get a red card for denying the opposing team a goal, etc., you will get a 1-match ban. If it's for serious foul play, the red card means you get a 3-match ban.
Yeah.
If you spit at an opponent, you get a 6. Your red card is a 6-match ban. If it's for violent conduct, it's 3-match ban. using offensive, insulting, or abuseful language or gestures, it's a 2-match ban. Who got that the other day?
What abusive language?
Somebody, Scowen, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he would have got. I would think if he got it for running up to the referee using abusive language and telling the referee how much he loved him, he would have got a 2-match red card ban.
Yeah.
Or would he? Or did he get a second yellow? I'm not quite sure.
Oh, he got a second yellow, didn't he?
Right. And you get for receiving a second caution in the same match. It's 1 match. It's a 1-match ban. I presume you can receive a yellow card and a red card rather than a yellow card. Can you? I presume you can receive a straight red if you've already had a yellow.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. So if he only got a yellow, then he will be back hopefully on Tuesday night. There are other things you can get sent off for, like diving, etc., etc. But the other tiny little points is what happens if the match officials do not see anything that you do. Then that goes to the FA court. And what happens if my teammates and I disagree with the match official's decision? You still have to show respect, and this is what Scowen didn't do. Otherwise, you can receive fines, etc. And what happens if I get sent off and react angrily to the decision? You are reminded to respect the match officials, and if you refuse to leave the pitch, etc., then that will go to disciplinary charge, and additional sanctions can be put on top of that red card. You can get punished for fake diving or fake injury. You should be careful making gestures. That's a yellow card in front of cameras. And celebrations after scoring a goal, you can also get a yellow card. You can get a yellow card for certain things put under your shirt by lifting your shirt, etc. So I think that sort of clears it all up. We've gone, of course, past the 19 game in the EFL. We're up to 37 now, aren't we?
33.
33, are we? Yeah. Right. So I wonder how many Wycombe players have received. Have you got the info on how many have received yellow cards throughout the season?
I find that the info.
Should have mentioned this earlier. Be interested to see how many are close to actually to how many are actually close getting missing games and getting banned.
So Jacobson, I have the top 4.
Yeah,
for whatever reason. Jacobson's on 12.
Oh, right. So he's going to get a ban then after 37 games.
Probably. I don't know.
Well, if he's had 12, if you've had 10 by then.
No, but if you have 10 by then he would have already been banned.
Oh, I see. Of course, yes.
It won't happen. It won't happen just then. He would have already been banned for 2 games. So Jacobson's had 12. Scowen's only had 7, which surprises me.
Right, so Scowen will be all right then.
Yeah, and Wheeler's got 5 and Tafazo's had 5.
Okay, so really, it's Jacobson's got to watch it in that he could end up missing. So Jacobson, has he missed 2 games then?
Yeah, he would have done.
Right. Well, he can if he gets 50, another 3 cards this season, he will actually miss the first 3 games next season.
Indeed. So let's hope he doesn't.
So Jacobson might not be playing at the beginning of next season.
He's old anyway. He might not be anyway.
Yeah, if he picks up another 3 yellows, he's out.
Yeah. I like they've on our player list for Sky Sports, Offobor, who hasn't played for us since last season. Last season is on here and is listed as a striker. I find that quite funny.
Oh, right.
But anyway.
Well, on the plus side, then finishing the whole Wycombe and everything to do with anything to do with Wycombe. Can I just say that I thought that central guy, Kakai or whatever his name is,
Kai.
Yeah, Kai. I thought he had a good game. I was impressed with him.
Exciting, I think the word is.
Yeah, I like him, and I think he's a find. I do. So it's good to finish on a positive like that. But let's just take a quick look then in the Premier League, and we had a few games today and yesterday that were, I thought, quite worth a chat. The first one has to be West Ham Newcastle.
Does it?
Yeah. 1-1. The reason why I'm going to discuss this is West Ham are at the top and Newcastle were down at the bottom. West Ham are losing their place now to Manchester United in 4th. Newcastle, of course, are scraping out of the barrel. They've lost their main man this season. 2 of their main men, because the guy you like is injured, isn't he?
What, St. Maximan?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's out, isn't he, for a while?
Oh.
I'm sure
that might hinder them a little bit. No, yeah, he's not on the bench and he wasn't playing, so yeah, he must have been.
Yeah, I think he's out for a while. I don't know for how long. I'm sure I read that he was out for a while. And of course, so they could be in a little bit of a sticky patch. They've just lost their 2 best players, in fact. West Ham aren't firing on all cylinders, are they?
No, I think this might be the beginning of
the end,
the somewhat end of their Champions League pursuit. So it looks like Arsenal and Spurs have it in their own hands, but United, you'd imagine, would have found some sort of feat and will also go on some sort of run. It'll be between those 3, won't it?
Yeah. Saint Maximan is injured. He's got a calf injury. Wilson won't be back till early March. Trippier won't be back till late April.
Really? Oh dear.
So
they could be in a little bit of trouble again then.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And like we say, West Ham are. Well, next one, Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. Well, the 2 top players for Arsenal scored their goals, didn't they? Rowe and Saka. Oh, do we like Saka? Would he go in? He'd go in my favourite team. I like Saka. Give him a cuddle, I would. He's a little bunny rabbit, isn't he? He's a little bunny rabbit. I like him. I think
if you want to see him have some hugs, then send him to Liverpool. Klopp will give him some hugs.
Yeah, their player, the player of the match though, was a guy. Tell me about him, Thomas Partey.
He's the CDM who they signed from Atletico Madrid, and people had been rabbiting on about him for goodness knows how long, as needing a move somewhere else to kind of prove that he's very good. Obviously, he went to Arsenal, so it didn't quite work out. But if you got man of the match, then there you go.
Yeah,
he's still a very, very decent player. He's not quite like got the stature of like a Fabinho or a Kante CDM like, but he's up there. He would fit into those sort of teams pretty well. So
Right, right. Well, it's interesting. I think Arsenal are quite interesting. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Arsenal next year. People, keep your hats on. I think they're going to be special next year for that top four.
special for top four.
Yeah. Well, I mean, taking the top two, you've got to be more than special, haven't you?
Yeah, true.
And yeah, I was just looking, just trying to see where Mr. Superstar for Brentford is. I can't see him on the injured list or in that he wasn't in the team either.
No.
Tony, yeah, he is injured, calf injury, so he's out at the moment.
Convenient timing after his comments.
What did he say?
When there was the international break, he was there was the girl who put a camera in his face who said F Brentford, and he went, yeah, and people were like, what did you say? He didn't mean it in the way it sounded apparently.
No.
But yeah.
Are they in trouble, Brentford, or do you think they're far enough away? There's 6 points away from Watford. Watford have got how many games left? How many games do they play in this league? 38, isn't it?
Yeah, they got 14 games left. I'm under the impression that Brentford are still kind of down there. Like they only need 3 or 4 more wins, but
they
currently winless in their last 5, and I don't see them picking up too many more points from places. I think they could be in trouble. I think Leeds Everton will be fine.
I think they need 3 wins, Brentford.
Yeah, probably about that because I'm not sure Norwich, Burnley, and Watford are all going to get more than
9-10 points, and they need.
Well, they've got plenty of time to do it. Like they should do it, but I still think they should have a look over their shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. But 2-1 Arsenal, yeah, it seemed fair enough. I thought Arsenal looked pretty good, and like I say, I think their next season is theirs to show us all what they've got. Aston Villa, your buddy boy, 0. Watford 1.
Not a good result for Steve.
No,
He's now lost to Newcastle and Watford, which is awful, quite honestly. To be fair to him, having seen the game on Match of the Day, like I can see that there's only so much he can do. Ings missed a couple of sitters, and their goal was pretty trash. So, I mean, obviously, I hope that Stevie gets out of this little rut they're in, but looks a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, I mean, this guy Dennis that they keep on and on and on and on and on about. How good is he? Are they just making? Does he just stand out because he's playing for Watford?
I think people were trying to compare him to like what would happen to him if he moved to a United, Liverpool, Chelsea sort of thing. I don't think he's that good. I think he's all right, like, and he would do some sort of job for them. But he's no world beater. Like he's a standard kind of. He'd fit in the Spurs team pretty well, to say that.
Right. I thought what was interesting about that game, and just so that people aren't disappointed, the XG of that game was Aston Villa was 1.25, but XG on target was 0.08. In other
Not very
words,
good.
their chances were wild. Yeah, they had good chances and missed the target.
Yeah.
Can't say it's the goalkeeper. Whereas Watford, on the other hand, reason they won was their expected goals was 1.75, and therefore they also missed their chances, but their XG on target was 1.94, of which one went in.
Indeed.
They ain't going to go in unless you put them on target. Steve E. All right.
I'm sure Stevie knows that. I'm sure Stevie has told them to put them on target.
Yeah. I mean, who have they got up front? Aston Villa.
Danny Ings.
Well, he missed one, didn't he? It went slightly to a bit unlucky that it sort of missed. And what Coutinho, of course, he needs to get up to speed, doesn't he?
He's not done that bad. Give him a minute.
The front lineup, though, for Watford looks all right to me. I mean, you got King, Dennis, and Sarr.
Yeah, I mean the front line looks very, very decent. Is there defence or midfield? Probably a bit of both.
Well, then in the midfield they got Cleverley, Sissoko.
Well, I think Cleverley has to be a bit of a weak point. How he's still playing in the Premier League, I really don't know.
Okay.
From my opinion, anyway. I don't know how well they work as a unit either. I can't imagine too well.
But see, they got Aston Villa, of course, with Watkins. Don't like Watkins.
Do you know?
No.
He's all right, I think, but it's fair enough.
No. Don't know why. I just sort of think he's a bit loud. Over gets excited. Right, he's not very cool in front of goal.
I don't understand what you mean by that. Yeah.
Did you say you understand what I mean about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a bit exuberance.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If he could just concentrate on what he's doing, he always looks like he's concentrating on the celebration before he's actually put it in the net.
Yeah.
Here's the shock one. Burnley 3. Well, it was actually Brighton 0, 3 Burnley. 3 Burnley. 3 Burnley. Burnley scored 3 goals, all by different players. Weghorst, Brownhill, and Lennon. Yes, Brownhill. You know, that famous player for Burnley, Brownhill. We all know Brownhill, don't we? Goodness. 10 shots they had. Blimey. Is that more than they've had for the rest of the season, I wonder, Burnley? What are they doing? They surely can't get out of this, can they?
I reckon they very well could do.
Of
course they can.
They
always do it. Don't really mind.
I want them to go down and just do us a favour finally.
It would be nice to have someone new, I suppose.
I mean, write Burnley off at your peril is the line that people will use.
Yeah, they will probably stay up.
And how's Lennon still playing football?
He has been around for
ever
long time.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't know how he's managed to keep on playing football. I don't know where he's been for the last 10 years. Like, who has he actually been playing for the last 10 years? Like, he was at Spurs, and he's had a 10-year gap, and is now at Burnley for some obscure reason.
Well, he's... you know why you haven't heard of him? For last season, he was at Kayserispor on a free transfer.
From Burnley.
In Turkey. So he's been playing in Turkey for the last year. He's been around, hasn't he? Sort of Leeds, Tottenham, Everton. Everton.
Yeah, I don't remember him at all being at Everton.
Free transfer. He plays 36 games for this Kayserispor. and they brought him back.
I'd say his number of appearances is 464. He is 592. Sorry, he has scored 43 goals, and he's an attacker.
Yeah, but you look where he hasn't scored them. He hasn't scored them.
Well, Burnley.
The only team he's actually scored any of them for was Tottenham.
Yeah. I don't understand.
What?
He's played 59 games for Burnley and scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
That's just
shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, how he's still
playing. That's why he's been in Turkey for a year, yeah?
Yeah. He used to be all right when he played for Spurs, to be fair. He'd do a couple of things, but that was 10 years ago.
And what's happened to Brighton?
I don't really know. I don't really follow Brighton.
I mean, we don't hear about their manager being the English manager, City manager, Liverpool manager, or Chelsea manager at the moment, do we? Because they're heading down the table.
Their 2 centre-backs were out, if that's an excuse.
Okay, they're 9th at the moment, and they got Southampton knocking on their door.
Oh, mate, who cares?
You don't care?
What about Southampton overtaking Brighton for 9th?
Yeah. Well, they get a different amount of money, so they probably do care. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure they do care.
Crystal Palace 0, 1 Chelsea, and the man of the match was Trick Mitchell for Crystal Palace. Exactly.
Well, he caused a mistake that led to Chelsea's goal, so he might have been man of the match.
Right, so he got man of the match by Chelsea fans, did he?
Maybe, yeah.
But Chelsea, was this another one of their scrappy scrapes?
Well, Lukaku had 7 touches the entire game.
Yes. Let's chat just 2 minutes about Mr. Lukaku. When's he leaving?
Probably quite soon.
I'm going to put my feet out here and change direction. There we go. I'm relaxing.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like this. Yeah.
When's he leaving? Yeah. He's got to leave.
Probably quite soon, I'd imagine. Yeah. How much does he cost? 100 mil.
100 mil. I reckon him and Grealish can get together and sort their own team out.
Did you see Grealish was at the boxing last night after Man City lost and he looked quite happy?
Yeah, I bet he is for spending his money.
Yeah. I'm sure Pep brought him in thinking, I've got this nice... Pep was like, I've got this nice English lads coming in,
He is injured at the moment, to be fair.
He is injured at the moment, and he is a nice English lad. However, he's not going to fit into Pep's system, is he?
No,
I was going to say...
maybe Lukaku could go to Manchester City and just...
ruin them.
And him and Grealish can play cards during the games.
Yeah. Just have a bit of a sesh.
Yeah. So Chelsea scraped the 1-0 as per Nor. And then we got to Liverpool 3, Norwich 1. That was a shame, wasn't it?
In what respect?
Norwich losing that.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah. They nearly won. They made me poop myself for a minute minute, but we were right.
Is there anything worth saying, really? I mean, there was always only going to be one outcome, wasn't there?
At the end of the day, yeah. Goalkeeper got an assist, which is pretty cool. Diaz got his first goal. To be fair, front 3 of Diaz, Mane, and Salah, all of them scored. It sounds pretty rude.
Jota injured. Oh dear. Does that
Jota's
make a
injured.
Difference?
I think it will make a
difference.
I think it makes a slight difference the way the front 3 play because none of them are supposedly strikers. I know Jota wasn't.
But that's an advantage to Liverpool, surely, because they don't know what will be coming at them.
No. But it was, for the majority of the game, it was Mane through the middle.
Mane through the middle. That's the point. Nobody thinks of Mane through the middle.
No.
You could make a film called Mane Through the Middle. Southampton to Everton. Neil, you don't want to discuss Southampton, but what about Everton? Poor Everton. Oh, aren't we all disappointed for Everton?
I'm sure Frank is really devastated at the 2-0 loss.
I said to your mother, Frank, what a mistake they have made in getting Frank. Frank is a manager for teams that are top. He had the big team in the Championship and failed.
Yeah.
But did all right, but they failed in the playoffs. But he had the bigger team. He had the bigger team at Chelsea and failed. And now he's got a smaller team. He's never managed a smaller team. He's never had a team. And his setup in his foot in the lineup and the setup and the I mean, it just was wrong. He doesn't know how to defend at all. He's not got a clue how to be the weaker team. I don't think he has a clue. In the end, he did play a 4-4-2. Okay, fine. But I don't think he knows how to play football.
Well, he was quite good as a footballer, so I'm sure he does.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
Team.
But Everton, I'd argue, still have like the kind of prowess and have some players which should make them a team that should dominate Southampton. I'm not like defending that he's very good, because I don't think he is a very good manager, but I'm sure he has some inkling of knowledge and to know what he's doing.
He's got Calvert-Lewin back, so he can't complain.
Not really, because even Benitez got Calvert-Lewin scoring goals, and the manager before that. So
yeah. So I think that's going to be interesting. That is going to be interesting. He had 2 shots, I might add, during that. Of course, he's got Richarlison. I can't stand him. But anyway, yeah. But he did have a few. Sorry, he did have Graves was injured, I believe.
Yeah.
So he didn't play. But Everton, I think, are dodgy, and I think they've made a big error in appointing him. I really do. And last but not least for today, we'll leave today's games out because they weren't really interesting, were they? That was Leeds 2, United 4, Wolves 2, Leicester 1. But the last game worth discussing was City 2, Tottenham 3. So,
Harry Kane,
the world has changed. It says on my pad, he says, looking it up, it said on my football magazine thingy, under Harry, well, not under Harry Kane, but the whole thing about the game was, he says, still looking it up. I'm not going to find it now. That's just going to be really annoying. Majestic performance will help Kane believe he can win trophies with Spurs. Really? Spurs win a trophy?
No.
What trophy are Spurs going to win?
You got the 2 probably best teams ever in the Premier League, in Liverpool and Man City. I don't think Spurs are going to win a trophy. The most they can ever win is an FA Cup, and that's not really what Kane's after.
Baffles me. Baffles me. Why do they think? I mean, do they really think that after winning that game, they're back? They're not back, are they? They just won a game of football.
It was a good performance,
but
I think that I think it was. They did play very well, but I think it was more down to Man City. Man City's kind of like underestimating Spurs more than anything, I'd say. That's what I put it down to. Like, not taking the game as seriously as they probably could have done.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to finish there. Is it going to make a blind bit of difference, City losing one game?
Probably not. But we like to think it will.
Just a couple of tiny little points. One is there's been 2 managers go this week. Derek Adams at Bradford, and I'm never going to sell this name. Velko Pornovic from Reading. So that's 33 managers gone, and they've actually already appointed is this going to be a really in thing? The interim manager is Paul Ince at Reading. How about so? Paul Ince is back. Been a couple of other things, such as Arsenal versus Liverpool has now been given the date of March 16th. Kieran, if you want to take note. Also, Jack Wilshere has signed for a Danish side called Eris.
Wow.
And Tottenham ask Antonio Conte to stop talking to Italian media after interview fallout.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, so he's had his wrist slapped. Okay. And with that, we'll say goodbye. We're very tired. We've been fighting that storm. We'll fight another one on Tuesday. I hope. What do you think? Let's predict. You predict me a score for Tuesday night, Kieran. Now, we'll have the
3-1 Wycombe.
Oh, you are? Oh, right. I was going to say put your Wycombe hat on. And then I was going to say, tell us what you really think.
Nah,
you'll go for 3-1 Wycombe.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm going to go for 1-0 Wycombe.
You think we're going to go from conceding 5 to none?
Yeah. Because I think Ainsworth is going to go bananas. And I think Ainsworth is going to make them work their socks off. And I think Ainsworth is going to drill. Yeah, but he's going to drill. He's going to have them on their knees. And I think he will change his setup entirely. I think Ainsworth will learn, and he does learn. I hate that term. We'll learn from this. But I think Ainsworth does learn from his mistakes. And I think he knows when he's made a mistake. And I think he will know he made a mistake.
Fair play.
And I think he'll get it. And I don't think we'll let any goals in on Tuesday. Mark my words.
Go and lose 4-0 now.
Yeah, go lose 4-0. Okay, with that, I'm sure nobody is here at the end except just me and you, mate. So, probably. Shall we say goodbye to each other?
We can say anything we want.
Yeah.
Bye,
Mike.
Goodbye
to each other. See you, Kieran. And if just tiny, just in case you are there, June Tabor. Okay, that's who is playing in the background if they let me. Okay, thanks. Bye.